Still under oath, Mr. Pistorius.
Thank you, my lady.
Thank you very much. Yes, Mr. Nel?
This is good. Mr. Pistorius, my argument will be, and that what the cross-examination will focus on today, is that your version is so improbable that it cannot be reasonably possibly true. I'm going further, Mr. Pistorius. I'm saying that your version of events is in fact untrue. Then, before we start, Mr. Pistorius, I say you've got a concocted version which you've tailored to fit the state's case, and you're tailoring your version as you're sitting there. You understand what I'm saying, Mr. Pistorius?
I do, my lady.
Good. Then, Mr. Pistorius, I've heard, and I wonder if you could confirm, that Reba was a very neat person. Do you? Can you?
My lady, she was neat in some senses. Her car was a mess, but her room was always very well kept.
And her clothes she would pack away and fold up.
I never went into a cupboard, my lady.
If one thinks of the scene, her clothes, undergarments and other clothes are all in the overnight bag. There's nothing that you can see on the photographs, am I right?
I've only seen the photographs, my lady.
Your voice is very soft. Can you just keep it up?
I beg your pardon, my lady. From the photos I've seen, her clothes were very nicely packed in her bag, my lady. Everything was very neat.
The only thing out of place, Mr. Pistorius, is the pair of jeans.
That's correct, my lady.
Why would that be, do you know?
I don't, my lady.
See, Mr. Pistorius, everything else, undergarments, other clothes, are all in the overnight bag. The only thing outside of that overnight bag is her jeans. You don't have an idea why?
I don't, my lady. My only reference, the only thing I can think of is that she wore the jeans that day, and maybe the things in her overnight bag were clean clothes. I'm not sure.
We're speculating, but I mean, there's nothing else but the jeans. No top. Only the jeans one can see. Am I right?
And her slops, my lady. You can see her slops on the floor.
But those are also neatly next to each other, next to the bed, on the left-hand side.
There's two photos of the slops, my lady, and they're in different positions in both the photos. So, but in both photos they're neat, and then later on there was another photo where they'd been moved a third time, but it was because a bag had been placed there, I think.
So I've missed it. I couldn't hear you. You think of what had been placed there?
There was a photo later in the morning, my lady, where they had placed Reva's overnight bag on the floor, and then the slops had been moved.
No, but on the photographs we see slops, as you call it. Those were neatly next to the left-hand side of the bed.
They were between the bed and the sofa, my lady.
On the left-hand side. That's the issue, Mr.
That's correct,
Pistorius.
my lady.
You said that she slept there the previous night as well.
I didn't say that, my lady.
No. Did she not sleep there the night before?
No, my lady.
No.
I said she slept at my house, but not on the left-hand side of the bed, my lady.
Where did she sleep?
In my bed on the right-hand side, my lady.
Okay. But she stayed the night at your house the night before this incident. That we can accept.
That's correct, my lady.
Knowing that you sleep on the left and she would sleep on the right.
That's correct, my lady.
Why would her slops be on the left-hand side?
I beg your pardon, my lady. Can Mr. Nall just repeat his previous question?
She knew that she would be sleeping on the right-hand side and you on the left-hand side because that's what happened the previous night. Am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
Good. Now, why would the slops be on the left-hand side?
Because on the bed is not in the middle of the room, my lady. The bed is, if you look at the bed, it's far towards the right of the room, and on the right-hand side, there's not much space. There's already items against the or near the curtains between the bed, but on the other side, there's a sofa and there's a ottoman, and Reva would always put her overnight things on the sofa there. So she'd always put her things down if she stayed over at my house on that sofa.
Always would mean she sleeps on the left. This was an exception. Always cannot work here. This was an exception. So always cannot work.
Are we not talking about on which side of the bed? We're talking about where she placed her things, my lady.
Always.
That's my understanding.
Always she would sleep on the left-hand side of the bed. This one night was, 2 nights were exceptions.
I don't think that's what the witness is saying.
That's not what I'm saying, my lady.
Just hold on. There was a flashlight. What happened here? Did I imagine that there was a flashlight? Let's proceed.
Well, please, let's take it through it. Usually when she would sleep there, she would sleep on the left-hand side of the bed.
That's correct, my lady.
On the night before and this particular night, those were 2 exceptions because she slept on the right-hand side of the bed.
Those were exceptions. There may have been other instances. I'd been struggling with my shoulder, for a couple of weeks, and when I'd slept over at Reva's house, I'd slept on the left-hand side of the bed as well, my lady.
Now, Mr. Pistorius, she would use the slops for when she would get up from bed. Am I right?
I'm not sure, my lady.
Have you not seen her use the slops before?
I have seen her use the slops before, my lady.
And when?
When she would walk around downstairs, and I don't have any independent recollection of her using the slops, but I know that she would use them around if she was walking downstairs, and the house tiles were probably cold, so I can, from that, it's possible that she would have worn the slops around. I don't remember her wearing the slops that day, but I'm sure she would have.
Mr. Pistorius, isn't the reason that she wanted to leave and wanted to get dressed, that's why the denim is, the jeans are out of place? She wanted to leave and get dressed.
My lady, the denims are inside out, so it would make sense that that's when she took them off, that she just left them on the floor.
But why would she leave them on the floor if everything else that she had on, everything else, is in the overnight bag? Why would she leave that particular jeans outside?
I don't know, my lady.
Where were they when you got into bed?
I don't remember, my lady.
Now, I'm saying, and it's a state's case, Mr. Pistorius, that she wanted to leave and that you weren't sleeping. You were both awake.
That's not correct, my lady. It's untrue.
And that there was an argument.
That's not true, my lady.
Before we go there, do you have an explanation for the stomach content of the deceased?
I don't, my lady.
Say again?
I don't, my lady.
That is, as far as your case is concerned, devastating for your version. That 8 hours after she's eaten, when she was killed, there was still that amount of food in her stomach. How do you explain it? Because you have to.
I don't know how to explain it, my lady. Professor Buerta came and testified, and his evidence is not taken into account with what's being put to me now, my lady. So I don't have an explanation for it, so I can't comment on it.
But you see, I'm going to press you for an explanation, because both Professor Buerta conceded that 6 hours, people would expect the stomach content to be clear 6 hours after somebody's eaten. Now we're talking 8. And I want to know from you why.
I don't know, my lady.
I put it to you that she must have eaten within 2 hours of her death.
I cannot comment on that, my lady. We had dinner just after 7 o'clock that evening, the night before.
Now, have you consulted with other experts in this regard?
No, I haven't, my lady.
Not at all.
No, my lady.
Now, what is a further aspect, Mr. Pistorius, is that Mrs. van der Merwe heard a woman talk from about 2 o'clock that morning. You've heard the evidence?
I have, my lady. She did say that.
Now that fits in with, well, it is possible that fits in with Riva eating. Did you eat?
No, we didn't eat, my lady.
But then it's impossible, Mr. Pistorius, that the gastric content could be what we see in the post-mortem.
I think, my lady, with respect, impossible is the wrong word. You would not expect that. That was the evidence. He said you cannot be dogmatic about it. You won't expect it. Not impossible.
I'll put it differently. All the references to works, medical works, and both very experienced pathologists said that one would expect the stomach content to be empty after 6 hours. You've heard that, Mr. Pistorius?
I have, my lady.
Now, why would, in this particular instance, that not be so? Why would there be still food in the stomach?
I'm not sure, my lady.
Because you were awake. There can be no other explanation.
My lady, I don't think me being awake has anything to do with Riva's stomach contents. If I don't know, then I don't know. If she ate again, I don't know if...
Okay.
What I'm saying is we ate dinner just after 7 o'clock. There's nothing to do with me being awake. Mrs. van der Merwe says she heard a woman talking. She doesn't say she heard a man and a woman talking. So I don't know, my lady.
You see, I'm going to mention it every time today. You're arguing the case, you're arguing what van der Merwe said, and being argumentative, Mr. Pistorius, is not good for your credibility. Will you accept that?
Yes, my lady.
So please, answer the questions. You're not doing yourself any favors. Do you understand that?
I was finishing my previous answer, my lady. I wasn't arguing a point, but I'm sorry if that's the way it came across.
Now, let us test what you just said. You said, I was sleeping. Did you say I was sleeping? Riva could have eaten.
It's a possibility, my lady. I was sleeping. If that's the evidence that's been given, when we ate after 7. I don't know of any other time that Riva ate. So.
But you know that the answer you just gave is impossible. It's a tailoring of evidence that she could have eaten. Because that's impossible, you know that, isn't it?
My lady, I can't comment because the only thing I know is that we ate dinner after 7 o'clock. It would have suited me to...
Your voice is very soft again.
I'm very sorry, my lady. I've heard the evidence that's been given, my lady, but we ate dinner after 7. It doesn't suit my version. If I wanted to tailor the evidence, I wouldn't stick with what I said, that we ate after 7 o'clock. But that's when we ate, my lady.
Mr. Pistorius, let's deal with the question. The question is, I put to you, you know that it's impossible for her to have eaten after you went to bed that night, on your version. Am I right?
If I was sleeping, my lady, I don't think Riva went down again to eat. I think it's highly improbable that she did.
It's in fact impossible on your version. Do you want to deal with that? Not improbable, impossible.
I don't want to argue the point, my lady.
I want to, Mr. Pistorius, because the alarm would have been triggered.
If Reva had switched off the alarm and went down to eat and came upstairs, I don't know, my lady. I was sleeping. I don't think she went down. As I said, we ate after 7 o'clock, and that's the last time that I think.
Mr. Pistorius, this particular point I put to you is devastating for your version, because it's an objective set of facts, and it cannot fit into your version. What do you want to say to that?
I'd agree with Mr. Nall, my lady. I don't see how Reva possibly could have eaten after 7 o'clock. We're just talking now about the possibilities. When I ate, we ate together, and we ate just after 7, and we ate for about 20 minutes, half an hour. So I'm sure dinner would have been finished long before 8 o'clock in the evening. I don't have an explanation for the questions he's putting to me.
Then, we'll get more of those instances where you cannot explain. Now, I want to deal with something that happened when I dealt with the fan. I won't rehash all the fan evidence, but it's important to just put to you, or ask you, let me rather ask, on your version of the events, Colonel van Rensburg were, let's put it the best way possible, of the first people that went upstairs. Am I right?
I don't remember who went upstairs first, my lady. I remember, as I said, I think one of the police officers asked if there was anybody in the home. I remember him going upstairs. He was in the civilian clothing. I remember Mr. Hilton Buerta going up twice. I don't remember who was upstairs at the same time, which police officers, of which ones went into the room at the same time, or if they were at different parts of the first floor. So I'd be unable to say who went up first. Mr. van Rensburg was one of the first officers that was there, but I don't have I'm not sure in which order he went up.
But what would then not be possible for you is to deny his evidence that he went up first. You cannot deny that. That's his evidence.
I remember the civilian dressed policeman going up the house first, my lady, after he asked me. But if Mr. I was crying at the time, I don't remember. It's possible that Mr. Colonel van Rensburg went up first. What I saw was that this police officer in the civilian clothing went up first, my lady.
Then let's just deal with the question. Can you deny Colonel van Rensburg's evidence? It's an easy question. Can you deny Colonel van Rensburg's evidence that he went up first?
I don't know. I can neither confirm nor deny, my lady.
No, I'm not asking if you can confirm. Can you deny? Is he lying?
No, I cannot deny it, my lady.
Why must I repeat this question? Don't you want him to be first?
Well, if I confirm his evidence, my lady, that means I confirm the fact that he's going up first. But I cannot do that if I can't remember it.
Now,
so I can't confirm his evidence. I can take it into consideration, but I cannot confirm his evidence. I don't know.
Now, can you deny, and I'll show you in the record if you do, his evidence that his focus was inter alia. He mentioned aspects that he focused on, but inter alia, it's been on the fan and the position of the triangular fan, tripod fan. Can you deny that?
No, I cannot deny that, my lady. I wasn't there.
Even during cross-examination, he was asked where his focus was, and he said that inter alia, his focus was on the fan in front of the door. You cannot deny that.
I cannot deny that, my lady. I don't know what Mr. van Rensburg, Colonel van Rensburg's focus was.
It went further. My lady, may I just request photograph 856? 85. A photograph was shown by Mr. Roux. My lady, it's page 870 of the record. You don't have to page through that. If you don't mind, you're welcome to, but I don't think it's in an album, Mr. Pistorius. Lady, it may take just a minute. I'll carry on with something until we find it. Mr. Pistorius, I have to put to you that at page 829 of the record, and I'll send a record across to you. At the from about line 22, the main bedroom, the main focus, as we stopped there because we did not know where we are going to find next, so we first stopped in the main bedroom. Now, when I entered there, I observed what's happening in the main bedroom, what we saw in the main bedroom, and then it carries on. At the bottom of 830, from line 20, what did you see about the fan? The fan I'm talking about, the metallic one, the stainless steel one. If I can say it like that. The stainless steel, it was standing in front of the door, and then the curtains was open. You see that, sir?
Yes, I do, my lady.
Now, would you, whilst you have that record with you, 888-888?
My lady, Mr. van Rensburg, if I may say, he doesn't say that he went up. He said that, plural, we went up. And he says the curtains were open, not the curtain.
Good, you picked that up. That's good. It's on the record. Will you now mind? Won't you mind paging to 888? Now he's on cross-examination from line 4. What did you focus on there? I'll wait for you. What did you focus on there? As I previously indicated, my lady, when I entered there, I noticed the watches. The box with the watches, 8 watches on there. That's the one thing that I noticed. The next thing that I noticed was this trouser lying in front, and then this bloodstained duvet that was lying there, the fan that was standing there, and the curtains that was open, as well as the door. That was my focus. Now, my question to you, now let me just deal with, we have photograph 856. Now, photograph 856 was shown to Colonel van Rensburg at page 870, my lady. And from about line 18, it's put to him, that would accord with what you saw on the day. No, it did not accord with what I saw. What is different? The fan was not standing there. It was standing in front of the door. It was standing in front of the door. In front of the door, it was standing more right. You do not know who moved it there? No, I do not know. But you see, Mr. Pistorius.
Just 1 minute. Is this the photograph we're supposed to be looking at?
Yes, my lady.
Is that the one?
That's it. That was what was showed. 856, my lady.
You haven't dealt with it yet?
I haven't dealt with it.
Oh.
It happened in cross-examination of Colonel van Rensburg, my lady. It was shown to Colonel van Rensburg during cross-examination. That's the book. It's by Mr. Roux.
Oh.
Now, Mr. Pistorius, my question is, why would Colonel van Rensburg not have been tasked with the fact that that fan was in fact standing right in front of the bed and not at the door?
I'm sorry, my lady, I don't follow the question. Who would have tasked him with it?
Mr. Roux, why would you not have put it to him that it's not only to the right, it's right in front of the bed?
I think if you look at this photo, what Mr. Nell means to say is it's to the left, my lady, and I think if you look in the context in which it was asked, Mr. Roux posed a question to Colonel van Rensburg to make sure that he knew what he saw in the morning. I think that was the context in which this was asked.
Yes, you're right. But why didn't Mr. Roux put it where you now said it should be? Why did he not put that to van Rensburg?
Because that's not what this photo dictates, my lady.
I've indicated 3 issues. I read 3. Don't be fixated on what's on the screen. I went through 3 things, Mr. Pistorius. Where he focused and where he said the fan was. Why, during all that time, did Mr. Roux not put that fan in front of the bed to where you say it was? Why?
I'm not sure, my lady.
No, because it's not your version. It was never your version. It's a tailored version during cross-examination.
That's not true, my lady.
It wasn't your version where you put the fans exactly during your evidence in chief. That we know.
I don't remember, my lady.
You said during examination in chief exactly where you took hold of it, exactly where you put your hand, and how you just brought it in. You never said you took it, put it right in front of the bed. You never said that in chief, and it was never put during cross-examination. Why?
Because I never put the fan right in front of the bed, my lady.
Did? No, but we know where you put it.
And that's
you put it where the Duvet is.
And that's not right in front of the bed,
Well,
my lady.
then forgive me for that. But then deal with that. Why was that point never indicated to van Rensburg?
I'm not
That
sure.
is the issue, not anything else. Why?
I'm not sure, my lady.
No, the only reason, and that will be my argument, and I'm giving you an opportunity. The only reason is because it was never your version before cross-examination started.
That's not true, my lady.
Mr. Roux would not have done it because of the position of the Duvet that was there. Is that not so?
I'm not sure, my lady.
You see, today I pick up that you're not sure about things. Is there anything wrong?
No, my lady.
Okay. I just wanted to know. So you're fine.
That's correct, my lady.
Okay. Now, let us deal with the blue light. The only bit of light in the pitch dark room was a blue LED.
That's correct, my lady.
In the on-off switch of the amplifier.
That's correct, my lady.
Nothing else.
There's a tiny, tiny blue LED light on the light switch, but it barely eliminates any light, my lady.
Now, you wanted to pick the jeans up to cover only that particular blue light.
That's correct, my lady.
You know what it means if that blue light is on in the on-off switch?
I don't, my lady.
Don't you?
I don't, my lady.
It means the amplifier is on. Isn't that so?
I don't know, my lady.
I'll show you.
I think the light can be on if it's on or off. I'm not sure.
I'm just going to ask you, if it's off, wouldn't it be red, and when it's on, blue?
I don't remember that light ever being red, my lady.
But one thing I will show you is that the amplifier was on.
I don't remember if the amplifier was on or off, my lady.
So there were other lights there on that amplifier.
I don't know if the amplifier was on or off, my lady. I remember the blue light on the button that I wanted to cover.
Now, firstly, before we go there, the blue light being on is... It came out first in your evidence in chief. It wasn't in your bail application or in your plea explanation. Am I right?
That sounds correct, my lady.
And the fact that the blue light was never put to either van Rensburg and or van Staden, the photographer. Am I right?
That sounds correct, my lady.
Now, if we could just have photograph 61, please. You recognize that's your amplifier?
That's correct,
Before
my lady.
that port in the amplifier, what is that?
It's a cell phone charger, my lady.
A cell phone charger. Okay. And it's for an iPhone. Or for what is that?
It's an Apple charger, my lady, so it could be used for an iPhone or an iPad or...
Did you use it that night?
I can't remember, my lady.
If you did, would you have remembered?
If I remembered, I would have said I remembered, my lady.
Now let us just zoom into the face of the amplifier. You see there? You see all the lights there?
I do, my lady.
That didn't bother you?
No, my lady.
You can't even remember it.
I can't, my lady.
Why would the little blue light on the left bother you but not the rest?
Because it's a lot brighter than the other lights, my lady.
But the other lights are so much more. Look at that.
My lady, this photo is taken in the day. I don't know how you can possibly...
There's another blue light. Can you see the other blue light?
I can, my lady.
Lady, may I ask that it just be identified? So there is another blue light. That didn't bother you?
No, my lady, the LED light, that whole panel there is a display panel, but the light inside the switch on the far left was the light that bothered me, my lady.
But you said the light bothered you before. Am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
You didn't think of just switching it off?
I'm not sure if the light goes off.
Did you try it? Or did you try it? Try and switch it off?
I don't remember, my lady.
Why wouldn't you? If a light bothers you before, so much so that you have to cover it before you go to sleep, why did you not try and switch it off?
I possibly did try to switch it off,
But
my
tell
lady.
us that. Did you?
I don't remember, my lady.
But that's what I'm saying. You would have remembered. If you did, you would have remembered.
My lady, if I did, I'm not even saying that the light may have gone off if I switched the amp off. It's the power light, so I'm not sure. Even if I did switch it off, there would have been a reason for me trying to cover it. So if the button was pushed off, if the amp was pushed, if the button was pushed and the amp switched off, I don't think the light would have gone off either way. I think the light is there to indicate that that's the power source of the amp.
That's what you think. You never tested it. It bothered you. You, Mr. Pistorius, gave the evidence. It bothered me, but I never tested it. Am I right?
I didn't say that, my lady. I said I don't remember.
But why, what would be wrong with your memory if you did? Why would we have a memory lapse about testing the amplifier's light?
I didn't test the amplifier's lights. There is
You
no
can't
memory.
remember. You can't remember if you did. Why? I'm asking you something different. Why would you not remember that? Why do you have a memory loss as far as that's concerned?
I remember picking up the jeans, my lady, and wanting to cover the light. That's what I remember.
You have to explain. You have to, Mr. Pistorius, create time. You have to, on your version, build in a time gap for Reva to get to the bathroom. That's why you invented what you're doing now. Isn't that so?
That's incorrect, my lady.
It must be, because otherwise that whole amplifier would have bothered you. Not only one blue light, you didn't know it was on. Therefore you focused on the little blue light.
Lady, if I wanted to create time, the state's been trying to create time in their evidence. In Samantha Taylor's statement, it says, she writes there, it took 4 minutes for me to put my legs on. I put my legs on here in court. It took half a minute. I'm not trying to buy time. I can simply say it as it was. Whether I try to put the button on or off or picked up a pair of jeans, it takes more or less the same time. It's got nothing to do with time.
Now you see, Mr. Pistorius, it's all these small things, because if we go up one, you'll see that not only is the amplifier on, the display is also on. You see that?
I cannot see the disc player on, my lady.
Is there any writing on it in the face of it? Would that be there if it's on or not?
My lady, there's a LED panel to the right of the amplifier. There's no words on there, so I can't say that it's on. It looks off to me.
What if let's zoom in. What's the LED you're referring to? Is that light on? Is it on or off?
It's off, my lady.
What? And if you go a bit to the left, where there's green, what is that?
I don't see any green, my lady.
What do you see there? Where the circle is? Do you see nothing?
Where the circle is, I see the piece that opens that says DVD on it. That's printed on a piece of plastic, my lady.
Are you saying that it's printed? It's not part of a LED?
That's what I'm saying, my lady.
And to the left?
To the left is a control panel, my lady, with a USB port and buttons. It looks like.
And there's no lights on there?
There's no lights on anywhere, my lady.
And your TV also had a red light?
I don't remember. It possibly did, my lady.
But I will show you. I just have to get the photograph. My lady, it will just take me a minute. I was sure I made a note, my lady, but I can't find mine. I apologize, my lady, we will get there. It will take half a minute. It's slowly kicking in. It starts at one of the screens and then it will run through the system. We switch it off. It won't take long, my lady. I apologize. Usually when we want something that it's slow. I apologize. Mr. Pistorius, whilst we're doing that, can you not do it? You don't have an independent memory of a red light in your TV.
I think there's a red light, my lady, on the bottom right-hand side of the TV, but it's not a very bright light.
Okay, that we have, so that was also on. That didn't bother you?
I don't remember that light, my lady.
And there, where the circle is now?
That's the light I was thinking of, my lady, in the middle of the TV.
That didn't bother you?
No, my lady.
And that wasn't illuminating anything?
It was illuminating, but I didn't bother. I didn't even notice it, my lady.
I see. Now, from where you picked up, before we go from where you picked up, there's one other aspect that I want to deal with, and that deals with photograph 68.
It's photograph
68, my lady. Let me pass it on to you. I've just been informed, but perhaps I did not identify the previous photograph. The previous photograph where the TV was shown, that was photograph 60.
Okay.
I'm going to ask Mr. van Staden to zoom into the Duvet on the right-hand side of the Duvet. Just there in front of where the jeans are. Yeah, more, go down. Go down more. And zoom in. Let's see if we can find blood spatter there. Does that look like blood spatter to you?
Yes, my lady.
Now, if we follow that blood spatter down towards the denim, a bit more to the left, and next to the denim, we'll find blood spatter on the carpet as well. Can you see it there?
I can, my lady.
If we even go further down and we go follow the angle of the denim, we'll find more blood spatter, which you'll point out. Can you see it?
That's correct, my lady.
Now, and if we then go to the particular photograph where one can see the hair smear, 67. Can you take that into account? My argument would be that that blood spatter on the duvet and on the carpet was caused when you carried the deceased past that area. What are you saying about that?
I understand that, my lady.
But on your version, it cannot be.
On my version, my lady, I went to go get my phones next to my bed. There was also blood spatter on the wall next to the bed where I went to go get my phones that were on the left-hand side of the bed. So it's possible that the duvet could have got blood on at that point as well, my lady.
And you went to the left-hand side, you never passed the duvet. One can follow the line of the spatter, Mr. Pistorius.
If the duvet was on the bed, I would have passed the bed and I was next to the bed, my lady.
I thought you'd say that. There's no blood spatter on the bed.
There's blood spatter on the wall next to the bed, my lady. That's what I said.
There's no blood spatter on the bed, Mr. Pistorius. Just listen to me. Don't argue with me. Listen to me. There's no blood spatter on the bed. Your counsel would have pointed it out. There's nothing.
I agree with that, my lady.
But then it's impossible, Mr. Pistorius. And don't you now want to tell the court that the duvet was there? Because everything points to it.
My lady, if the duvet was on the bed, there wouldn't be blood spatter on the bed. It would be on the duvet.
No, Mr. Pistorius. There would be some blood spatter leading to it. It wasn't covered. Oh, you now want to say that it was covered. The duvet was nicely folded open.
No, it's not what I say, my lady.
Then deal with the question. Don't you, Mr. Pistorius? We've now indicated to you that in all probability, the genes are on top of the duvet. We've pointed out very convincing blood spatter on the carpet and on the duvet that one could link. We've pointed out that Colonel van Rensburg was never cross-examined about the position of the fans. Don't you want to admit, Mr. Pistorius, that at least you made a mistake, that duvet was on the floor?
I don't remember the duvet being on the floor, my lady.
You remember it, in fact, not being on the floor?
That's correct, my lady.
So why are you saying I don't remember it being on the floor? That's a nonsensical answer, because that's not your version. Why did you say that?
It is my version, my lady, that I don't remember the duvet being on the floor.
That's not your version. Your version is I remember the duvet being on the bed. That's your version.
Which means it couldn't have been on the floor, my lady.
You see that?
And if the blood is on the one corner of the duvet, which from being indicated and shown, my lady, then it could have easily been that corner that was on the bed. Where the rest of the blood spatter is, there's a lot of blood spatter in the room.
Okay, let us. You see, Mr. Pistorius, as you argue, I just get more questions. Because what in fact you're now saying is, a policeman must have been so clever to put the duvet down where the corner was, where the blood. Is there something wrong with you, Mr. Pistorius?
My eyes are sore, my lady.
Now, does it have an effect on you giving evidence that your eyes are sore?
No, my lady.
Why are you touching your eyes now? Did it get sore now, or was it sore when you got here?
Mr. Nell, I happened to be watching the witness a few minutes, well, maybe about 10 minutes ago. He was touching his eyes.
As a court witness. I didn't see that, my lady, but if the court saw it, I won't take it further.
I'm aware of that, yes.
Mr. Pistorius, we must now look at the probability. A policeman, either by design or luck, put a duvet down on the floor with that particular corner in line with the blood spatter on the carpet. Is that what you're saying is possible?
No, my lady.
You must, because that's what I pointed out to you. That your version isn't possible. Don't you want to at least concede this?
My lady, that's... If the police officer placed it there, or it was by luck, has nothing to do with my version. It was unlucky that many of the things were in the way that they were, because they have changed so often in the various photos. So I can't agree with the comment. It's not about conceding.
As I said, Mr. Pistorius, from the start, I'm going to point out to you how improbable your version is, how you're tailoring your evidence, and that it's not true. There's another aspect. When you armed yourself and you spoke to Reva, what did you say?
I told her to get down and to phone the police, my lady.
In what way did you say it?
In a low tone, my lady.
In a low tone. definitely did not whisper.
No, I remember saying it in a low tone, my lady.
Mr. Pistorius, listen to my question. I know what you want to say. Every time you do that, Mr. Pistorius, it affects your credibility. Please, did you whisper?
I didn't whisper, my lady.
If somebody would say that you whispered, that person would be lying. Am I right?
That's right, my lady.
You know who that person is? It's because somebody said it.
No, my lady.
It's you. You said it. You said, I whispered to Reva.
I remember saying I said it in a low tone, my lady.
You see, and it's not during cross-examination, it's evidence in chief. Page 1471.
Then I made a mistake, my lady. I remember talking in a low tone to Reva.
I'll point it out to you first before we go to mistakes.
What page again?
1471, my lady.
Thank you.
At line, I will pass it over to you now, Mr. Pistorius. At line 20, Mr. Pistorius, do you have it now? If I may, and there was intervention, just as I left my bed, I whispered for Reva to get down and phone the police. Now, that is your evidence in chief. Why are you trying to steer away from a whisper?
I'm not trying to steer away from a whisper, my lady. I've said before that I remember talking in a low tone, and this morning when asked this question, I said I think I spoke to her in a low tone. So if I said I whispered there, it wasn't a whisper, it was a low tone in which I spoke to her.
No. Yeah, we dealt with this. We dealt with this on. I must just see what record this is. On the 11th, that was Friday. We dealt with this on Friday at page 1741, where you said at line 3, you never whispered. Oh, sorry. Would you get there? Malady, I apologize. I don't think the court has a hard copy of the record yet.
Well, we leave it behind. There's no space.
As a court, please. But I will read it, and I'm sure everybody would follow it. And
Yes.
if it later becomes an issue, we can deal with it, if that's fine. Do you have it, Mr. Pistorius?
I do, my lady.
Line 3, you never whispered. What's the difference between soft manner and whisper? Soft manner is talking softly, and a whisper would be a whisper, my lady. So, but you did not whisper. No, my lady, I did not whisper. Now, you were as convincing Friday as you today that you did not whisper, but yet in your evidence in chief you whispered.
I understand that, my lady.
I just wonder why you want to steer away from a whisper.
I don't want to steer away from a whisper. A whisper would suit me better, my lady.
That would not suit you better. You cannot keep on with that answer. A whisper, you wouldn't know if she heard, because it's very soft, am I right? One would expect a response to whisper. Low tone is hard enough for her to hear. Whisper, I don't know if she heard. Isn't that a possibility?
My lady, what was just asked to me is I would expect an answer from a whisper, but then it was put to me that a whisper wouldn't be heard, but yet a low tone would, which is the complete opposite. A low tone would be heard, that's right, but therefore a whisper would have been would have been the one that wouldn't have received an answer.
That's correct.
So
You're
it would
right.
have suited me better if I didn't hear an answer that I whispered, but I didn't. So I'm not choosing something to suit me here.
No, you are, because you see, you're trying to steer away from a possibility that you would think she couldn't hear. If you said a low tone, she heard, she decided not to whisper. There's an obligation on you to make sure she heard. Isn't that your issue?
No, that's the opposite, my lady.
No, that's not the opposite, Mr. But we'll argue it. I'm just more concerned with the fact, Mr. Pistorius, that you would convincingly deny that you whispered on more than one occasion, yet that was your evidence in chief. Why would that be?
No, I understand that, my lady. I must have made a mistake by saying whispered. I meant in a low tone.
You see, Mr. Pistorius, your word choice, your choice of words as far as mistake is concerned, you would have picked up the mistake on Friday if it was a mistake, evidence in chief. Because on Friday, I never referred you to the record. Am I right? To your evidence in chief.
I'm sorry, my lady. I don't follow what was asked to me now.
You see, I'm a bit concerned. Why don't you follow?
It was put to me now something about my evidence being led on my repeating of if Mr. Nall put my evidence to chief to me on Friday.
Yeah, did I? Did I tell you on Friday that your evidence in chief, when you gave evidence, Mr. LaRue was leading your evidence, when that happened, that you whispered? That you used the word whisper. I didn't put that to you on Friday, am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
That's why on Friday you were very strong saying you definitely did not whisper.
That's correct, my lady.
Today, again.
That's correct, my lady.
Now, only when I pointed out to you that your evidence in chief was whisper, you think it was a mistake. Why would that be a mistake?
Because it was only pointed out to me now, my lady.
Why would you make that mistake?
I'm not sure, my lady. As I said, I probably meant in a low tone and I said whispered, and I'm saying it's the first time it's been pointed out to me.
Okay, you see, we remember the theme for the day is tailoring your evidence. I'm putting it to you, that's what you're doing. You're tailoring your evidence.
My lady, if I was tailoring my evidence, it would suit me to whisper, not to talk in a low tone. I don't understand how that could be seen as tailoring my evidence.
We have a different view. Now, Mr. Pistorius, just quickly, as far as you arming yourself, there's one aspect before I get there. Mr. Pistorius, Reva, when you woke up, Reva was awake and she spoke to you.
I'm not sure if me waking up woke her up, my lady, but she spoke to me, so she was awake.
And while she was lying in bed, you got up.
That's correct, my lady.
She never asked where you're going, what are you doing? Not at all.
No, my lady. She said, Baba, can't you sleep? And I said to her that I couldn't, and I got out of bed.
You never said to her, I'm going to close the curtains. You never did that?
No, my lady.
She never asked where you're going, why are you getting up?
No, my lady.
And neither did she say to you that she was going to the toilet.
No, my lady.
Would you have expected that kind of a conversation between the two of you? Why would she not ask you where you're going?
I don't know, my lady.
It's because your version is improbable. One would expect her to say, ask where you're going. Would you expect her saying?
I don't think so, my lady.
Why? Would you expect her not to say a thing when you get up in the middle of the night? If she's awake?
I don't know what I'd expect, my lady. I don't know.
I ask you. It cannot be wrong or right. I'm just asking you. Whatever the answer is your answer. What would you expect?
I don't know what I'd expect, my lady.
No. Why wouldn't you know what you expect? If I asked somebody, what do you expect, they would tell me. Why can't you?
I don't know what I'd expect. I don't know if she was awake, fully awake. I don't know if she just asked me if she couldn't sleep. I don't know if she thought I was going to the bathroom. I don't know if she thought I was going. Maybe she didn't think of asking me why.
What would you? I know what you're all saying, and please don't think of implications of the question, because rather think of the question.
There's no implications in this question, my lady. I would not be able to say. I would not be able to say what somebody would say in this situation.
If I argue that every reasonable person would have asked you, why are you getting up? Where are you going? What would you say?
I don't understand that question, my lady.
Let's not use normal people would say, when you get up, she would say, where are you going? Oh, so you say you don't expect her to do that.
My lady, I'm not even sure it would be a probability that if someone gets up in the night that their partner would even ask them what they're doing or if they can't sleep. She asked me simply, could I not sleep? And I said no, and at that point I got out of bed. I don't even know if I've been awake at night when somebody's got up next to me that I haven't asked them where they're going or what they're doing.
Did you talk to them? Because she spoke to you. It's not as if there was no conversation. It's not as if you get up and she's trying to sleep. She's awake. She's talking to you, and you get up.
That's correct, my lady.
And the concern is that you cannot sleep. That's your concern, because that's what you're telling her. I cannot sleep.
That's correct, my lady.
And yet she didn't ask you anything further.
No, she didn't, my lady.
Now, I want to take you to the first time you heard a noise in the bathroom. And not to repeat everything, you said you picked up the jeans, you were about to cover the light when you heard a noise in the bathroom. Am I right?
Lady, there were two questions that were put to me. The first was the first time I heard a noise in the bathroom, which would have been the noise from the toilet. And then later was asked, was the first noise I heard from in the bedroom. And that was when I was picking up the jeans.
Okay, let's follow this from within the bedroom. What's the first noise you heard in the bedroom?
The first noise I heard in the bedroom was the window, my lady.
This Now, let us just deal with two things here. It was clear that it was the window sliding open.
That's what I interpreted to be, my lady.
You had no doubt.
No, I didn't have any doubt, my lady.
Let us just, as far as this is concerned, it was clear, the noise.
The noise was loud, my lady. It was the window opening and sliding and then hitting the door, hitting the window frame. It was clear.
And let us just speculate. If Reba was in bed, she would have heard that as well.
That's correct, my lady.
At least, would you then have expected a conversation?
No.
Saying, did you hear that, Os?
No, my lady. And I
Why
wouldn't.
not? Why would she not have, if she was there, not have?
Because if she had heard it, she would have been as scared as I was. And when I said to her, get down on the floor and call the police, that's what she would have done. She wouldn't have engaged in a conversation. If she had heard what I'd heard, there wouldn't be a response.
No, I don't agree with you, Mr. Pistorius. Wouldn't you expect a response from her, a window opening in the middle of the night whilst you're in bed? Mr. Pistorius, you just don't want to concede anything, not even when we speculate about facts. Don't you just think back. If she would hear a window open in the middle of the night, would she not have asked you about it?
No, my lady, because I heard a window open and I didn't ask her about it. I was certain I heard the noise.
You see, that doesn't make sense. That is not true. That's improbable. That you would not, having heard a window open, you would have asked her if she heard it.
I didn't ask her if she'd heard it, my lady.
You see, but that's not the only issue. You did not identify the noise during the bail application? Am I right?
I said I heard a noise. I don't think I identified the noise, my lady.
You see, that is a big issue for me. You're right. You said you heard a noise in the bathroom. Now, if you were so convinced that it is two noises, in fact, a window sliding open and slamming into the other window, why would you not have put that in your bail statement? Because that is important.
Lady, we keep on going back to this bail statement, and what I said was that I heard a noise. I understand that if the window opened, there isn't many things that could have been moved in my room, but I interpreted it as the window moving open, so I said I heard a noise.
No, but that's not the question. The question is, Mr. Pistorius, at the bail application, we all knew that Riva was shot in the bathroom. You said you heard a noise.
That's incorrect, my lady. We knew that she had been shot in the toilet, my lady.
And the toilet's in the bathroom. But
That's
I stand
correct,
corrected. I do stand corrected. Thank you. You see, I'm going to argue this. You're such a stickler for what is 100% correct, for detail, that you just corrected me. And I apologize for I was wrong. Why would you not have been equally keen on indicating in your bail application that it was the window? Because that seems to be your personality.
My lady,
why did you not say that?
when my bail was done, it was done by my legal team. It was read to me in a holding cell. I was on medication. I was traumatized. I read it and it was the truth, and I signed it, my lady. There was no understanding that it needed to be an exhausted statement.
Nobody expects exhaustive statement. So I will argue that everybody expects you to say what you heard. I heard a window opening.
Yes, I heard
That's a big difference between that and a noise, Mr. Pistorius, please. Yes?
No, I heard a noise, my lady.
No. You heard a window sliding open. Why did you not put it in your bail statement?
My lady, even in my evidence, I remember saying when I saw the window open, when I got to the bathroom, it confirmed that what the noise that I'd heard was a window sliding open.
You see, Mr. Pistorius, tailoring. During your bail application, you didn't know the window was open.
That's not
Did
true,
you?
my lady.
Oh, you knew because you went in and you saw it open. You're right. I'm still concerned about you not saying you heard it open. That's tailoring. That's just a version that you adapted.
That's not true, my lady.
Because there's another aspect to that. When you made your plea explanation, you had all the facts.
That's correct, my lady.
You weren't traumatized. Am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
You weren't under medication.
That's incorrect, my lady.
You might have been under medication, but you understood everything that your legal team was doing.
That's correct, my lady. I
And
understand.
you understood the plea explanation. Am I right?
That's correct, my lady.
You even signed it.
That's correct, my lady. I read and I signed the plea explanation.
There's nothing. Let me just check quickly. But anyway, I just have a moment before I put a statement. There's nothing about the window slamming against the other window in your plea explanation. Why?
Because it never slammed against another window. my
What
lady.
did it slam against?
The frame, my lady.
Why is there nothing about slamming? I just want to put it on record. You again corrected me on fine detail. And I stand corrected. If you do it, every time I'll apologize to you. What's important is, Mr. Pistorius, small detail.
My lady, it's not small detail. If a window
You corrected me on small detail. Am I right?
That's correct, my lady. It's not small detail, though. It's detail of what happened.
Why is the big issue of the window slamming into the frame not mentioned?
I'm not sure, my lady.
No, that cannot work. Not sure is not an answer. You said you weren't traumatized, you signed it, you knew what was going on. I'm asking you, why wasn't it mentioned?
I'm not sure, my lady.
Because you never said it.
That's incorrect, my lady.
There is no ways that it will not be in your in your plea explanation if you said it.
That's incorrect, my lady.
Did they deliberately keep it out?
I don't think so, my lady. I'd have full trust in my legal team. I don't think they would have deliberately kept anything
But then I
out.
don't understand.
Well, I don't understand it, my lady.
Except if it's never been your version, but a tailoring when you gave evidence.
That's not true, my lady.
That's the only other. That for me, that's the only thing that makes sense, because it's dealt with in your plea explanation. Why is it not dealt with that it's slammed?
My lady, I respect how Mr. Null interprets it, but I don't know why, my lady.
No, you see, that's not that easy. We'll deal with it. My lady, it's a record, page 7.
Page?
7 of the record, my lady.
Thank you.
And it's paragraph 4.3 of the plea explanation. I heard the bathroom window sliding open. I believe that intruder or intruders had entered the bathroom through the bathroom window, which was not fitted with burglar bars. You deal with burglar bars, but you don't deal with slamming. Why?
My understanding from the questions that have been posed to me was that I never mentioned anything about the window in my plea explanation,
No, I
my
didn't
lady.
say that.
But now that I've heard the plea explanation, I did say the window slid open.
Mr. Pistorius, I don't know how you can answer that, how you can give that answer. I really don't know how you can give that answer. Except if you're not focusing at the moment. Are you focusing?
I am focusing.
How
my
can you
lady.
then give that answer? I never said you didn't deal with this. How can you give that answer? What's wrong?
Nothing's wrong, my lady. My interpretation of what's been put to me is that it didn't mention the window. If the window slides and it stops, that's the stopping of the sliding. That's when it hit the frame.
You see
So if it was put in my plea that the window slid open, that's the truth. There's no tailoring of any evidence in that.
Are you really telling the court, as you sit there, that you think we're dealing with sliding at the moment?
We're dealing with the noise of the window, my lady.
What noise?
The noise of the window opening.
How can you say that? Are you really saying that? Is that how you understood my questions up to now? That we're dealing with the window sliding open?
The last question, my lady, I thought that pertained to my plea explanation and why the sound of the window wasn't in the plea. Why I said noise in my bail and why I said in the plea explanation the sliding open of the window. That was my understanding.
You see, Mr. Pistorius, because you're not listening to the questions. You're thinking of implications. You're tailoring a version, because that inference that you now have drawn from my questions is impossible to make from a person listening to the questions.
My lady, I don't understand how tailoring of evidence would make any difference if I heard a noise of a window sliding or I heard a window sliding and hitting the frame. I don't understand how that changes anything.
It will be pointed out to you, Mr. Pistorius. Why don't you just deal with the questions? Why wasn't the fact that the window slammed against the frame included in your plea explanation?
I don't know, my lady.
Okay. So we have that. You're the only person that can tell us, but you don't know. We'll deal with that. Now, that's the noise you heard whilst you're in the bedroom.
That's correct, my lady.
That particular noise caused you to take immediate action.
That's incorrect, my lady.
What caused you to take immediate action?
As I said before, I stood there for a brief moment and I froze. I wasn't sure what to do. I didn't want to cross the passage immediately because I wasn't sure if the people or persons were coming down the passage. And then I ran to get my firearm, my lady.
Okay. stand corrected again. You waited. For a moment, you were frozen. Got that? And then you ran.
That's correct, my lady.
And what did you do then?
I then collected my firearm from under my bed. I took the holster off. I turned my body back towards the passage, and as I started walking, I said to Reva to get down. I told Reva to get down on the floor and phone the police. And I made my way as quickly as I could to where the wall enters the passage, my lady.
And you got in what position?
In a off safe, in a ready mode, my lady.
Aimed at?
Aimed in front of me, my lady.
Like in a shooting mode, ready to shoot. Am I right?
No, not ready to shoot, my lady, in front of me.
You see, Mr. Pistorius, please, let us deal with it. I'm going to put on record what I saw. Bent arm, gun in your hand.
That's correct, my lady.
Is that so? You were scared. You thought that there were intruders in the house.
That's correct.
And that's how you approached them, with a bent arm, your elbow next to your side, and your gun facing forward.
That's correct, my lady.
Not ready, not extended and ready to fire.
That's correct, my lady.
Okay. And your intention then was, what did you want to achieve?
I wanted to chase the people out of my house, my lady.
Because? Why? You wanted to protect Reva.
Yes, well, if somebody's in your house in the middle of the night, I'm sure anyone would want to chase them out, my lady.
Good. So your firearm was then at your side.
That's not what I said, my lady.
What did you say?
I said my firearm was in front of me, facing in front of me.
Yes. Your elbow at your side.
My elbow close to my side. I was walking, so it wasn't in a fixed position at any stage.
But not extended, as we saw you firing at the watermelon. Not like that.
Not like that, my lady.
Yes, and then when you got to the corner where the passage was?
Then I peered around the corner, my lady. I stopped shouting. I'd already heard the door slam.
No. Let's go back. You're from the bed. You go to where the passage starts.
That's correct, my lady.
When you got there, where the passage starts.
Where the passage starts, I moved over to the left of the passage so that I could see as much as I could into the entrance of the bathroom.
So, I just want to ask you, could you see something?
I could see a little bit of light, my lady. I could, if somebody had to come out there, I would have been able to see their silhouettes.
There is some illumination in the passage.
More in the bathroom, my lady.
And if Reva walked in and your eyes were on the passage at that time, you would have seen her.
No, my eyes were on the bathroom when I was in the passage, my lady, in the entrance of the bathroom.
If you were busy in the room and Reva walked down the passage, would you have seen her? If you looked.
I would have seen a silhouette, my lady.
So that way, if you looked in that direction, you would have seen her. Good. Now you move to the left-hand side of the passage, what then?
I carried on shouting for the intruder to get out of my house, and I moved up the passage, my lady.
Please, can we just go back? I carried on shouting. Did you start shouting there, or where did you start shouting?
Yes, I started shouting in the passage, my lady.
Yeah. So, and you shouted what? Words to the effect, or what did you shout?
Words to the effect of, for the intruders to get out of my house, for people to get out of my house, and for Eva to phone the police, my lady.
But can you remember what you shouted?
Yes, I can.
What did you shout?
I screamed, I said, "Get the fuck out of my house. Get the fuck out of my house."
We'll adjourn for a few minutes. Court will adjourn.